Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My dear students, today we are going to cover the lecture of user requirements. Previously, we discussed about the requirements engineering process where we had the different 4 steps, from which we have covered the first step regarding the requirements elicitation, in which we covered the different techniques that how we are going to gather the information from different techniques, and we covered like interviews, joint application, discussions, we had a questionnaire, we had observation, etc, etc. And moving on, today we are going to cover the different kind of requirements, from which today's lecture is related to the user requirements. And today we are going to focus on the technique that is used for collection of the user requirements. As we are seeing in the introduction slide, that use cases are a means of expressing the user requirements. Use cases is one of the technique, or mostly the most popular technique, that is used for expressing the user requirements. And use cases are used extensively in the analysis phase, as use case represent how a system interacts with this environment by illustrating the activities that are performed by the users and the system's responses. So basically here we have the user's perspective, and when we have like technique like interviews, where we have one-to-one session with the users, we will conduct the interview, we ask the perspective of the user, that how they use the system, how the external entities interact with the system, sorry. So there are normally two approaches that are used for the representation of the user's information. The first technique, that is text-based technique, or the text-based use case, which is very easy for the users and more elaborative and understandable, and also flows easily into the creation of process models and data models. Process models and data models, you might have covered those into the system analysis and design subject in your previous semester. Process model is related to the data flow diagrams, and data models are more related to your entity relationship diagrams. You'll be covering entity relationship diagrams in the databases as well. So what are the different elements of the use cases? Each use case comprise of different elements, which have alternative use case formats, use cases and functional requirements, use cases and testing, and finally building use case. So this is basically the outline, not the elements, but the outline of the today's lecture, where we are going to discuss different elements, alternative use case formats, which I've already discussed, the use case diagram and the text by use cases. What is the relationship between the use cases and the functional requirements? How we are going to construct the use cases, that is building the use cases, and how we are going to test the use cases. So starting from understanding what are the use cases, a use case depicts a set of activities that produce some output result, and each use case describes how an external user triggers an event to which the system must respond. How an external user triggers an event means use case is subjected towards the triggering of an event. When the user perform an event, and in response to the event some behavior of the system triggers, and use cases help us out to design that scenario that comprises of triggering of an event by the external users that are interacting with the system. With this type of event driven modeling, there are several paradigms. We have model driven engineering, we have agent based modeling, we have aspect oriented modeling. There are several paradigms, from which one paradigm is event driven modeling. These paradigms are not part of this course. You might be learning about those in different subjects, and even after the graduation, when you join the practical environment, you will be learning about them. It depends on what kind of job that you do. Like when you go to the aviation, you will be doing the agent based programming or agent based developing, where several kind of agents that are going to interact with each other, especially in the defense area. So right now we are talking about the event driven modeling. With this type of event driven modeling, everything is in the system can be thought of as a response to some triggering event, and creation of use cases is often done as a part of interview session with the users or a part of a JAD session, joint application development. So here, as I told you previously, that the use cases are built based on the interview session with the users. They are actually part of the system or previously developed system, maybe whether manual or whether computerized, that they are interacting with the system, and part of joint application development sessions where we have several users which are using the system or somehow related to the joint application, related to the system. So over here with the interview, we have one-to-one. Over JED, we have like several group of people that we have already discussed these techniques in previously. So what are the elements of use case? Each use case has a name and a number and a brief description. Name signifies what kind of scenario or what kind of use case that is being developed. The number that is used to identify a particular use case. As you know that in the databases, like we have several employees, so each employee has a name, but they are not identified by the name, they are identified their primary key or the unique identification number. Over here as well, we might have several use cases, and even the use cases that are like combined together to form a larger use case, so they must be having some uniquely identification number, and a brief description that what this use case is all about. The priority may be assigned to indicate the relative significance, maybe low priority or medium priority or high priority related to the development of the system, the which use case has more priority to be developed at the first, or which is the part of the core functionality. The actor refers to a person, another system or hardware device that interacts with the system to achieve a useful goal. So actor is actually that a person that interacts with the system, maybe a hardware device, a person, or another system, another entity. And the trigger for the use case, the event that causes the use case to begin, to start, that triggers the a particular use case. So this is the simple or an example use case that's depicted over this slide. You might be might be difficult to view, so you can view in by Zoom in a larger perspective when you have these PowerPoint slides at your home. So let me elaborate some of these things. So over the top you can see that there's a use case name, and this is the ID, which is the identification number, and the priority. Right now this has the priority high. Normally we have a low, medium and high. There are three parameters for this, the three values for this parameter, and this is the text-based use case that we are talking about. We have the actor, the non-chemical applicator that is actually interacts with this use case scenario. We have a description that tells what use case scenario is all about, what is happening in this. Over at the bottom we have a trigger, that is a non-chemical applicator that make a chemical for a job. This is a trigger that when a non-chemical applicator needs a chemical for a job, so this use case scenario, that is the request a chemical, is triggered when a non-chemical applicator needs a chemical for the lawn. We have like preconditions that actually apply that before the start of the use case. We are going to discuss in the detail what are these different elements. We have a normal course that contains some list of steps. Normal course basically describes that successful execution of a use case when the list of steps how the use case is going to start from step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, means starting from the request of the chemical. Beside that, there's information for the step, for each step in the normal course, the information that is required for the each course. जैसे कि एक स्टेप बाय स्टेप सक्सेसफुल कंप्लीशन ऑफ एक सिनेरियो आप कह सकते हैं, दैट इज़ अ नॉर्मल कोर्स. We have then alternative course. Alternative course means when we have different branches of the execution of the use case scenario. तो मीन्स कि आप एक डायरेक्शन में भी जा सकते हैं, you go to the different another direction, then you go to the different direction. Depends on the response of the user that is interacting with the system. So post conditions after the successful execution of the use case, what will be the post condition that need to be applied after the successful completion of the request. Then we also have to consider the exceptions. Exceptions means that when something goes wrong, or the normal scenario that doesn't go according to the plan by the normal course or the alternative course. And then we have different parameters like summary of the inputs, what are the sources, what are the outputs, what are the destination. These are other different parameters that are will be the part of the use case scenario. So let me elaborate more of a simple scenario regarding the use case. For example, when you go to the ATM machine and you go and request the amount to be retrieved by the ATM distributor, what is the normal course? That you go to the ATM machine, you put your ATM card, and then you choose to put your card into the ATM machine, and you select number of you select the input. So what is the trigger for this use case scenario? You put your card into the ATM machine. So there are sensors in ATM machine that when they senses the card into the ATM machine, the use case scenario starts. So you may say that the triggering of that use case scenario is the input of the card. Okay. And what are the preconditions? Preconditions, you can say that the card is valid, and card is has a proper chip, and card is identified by the which bank does it belong. And when it does all those things, then it starts the normal course. Normal course means when it asks the user to put the PIN number. So when the user puts the PIN number, then it gives different options. So normal course, that if you want to extract the money, he goes and choose like cash withdrawal, choose the cash withdrawal, and then he or she chooses the number of the amount that he wants to extract from the machine. And more precisely, after the choosing of the balance, then it goes ask for whether he or she requires the balance, the receipt, how much amount he is requesting from the ATM machine. And when all the input from the user is done, then the machine processes all the information, verifies with the account, gives all the money to the user, and give back to the card, give back card to the user, and then give back the receipt. So this is, we can call the normal course. Alternative course may be the like user inputs the PIN number, but user doesn't require the balance cash withdrawal. However, it chooses the different alternative, like the payment of the bill, or want to activate his card, or you want to make a transaction, online transaction from one account to another account. So these are all the different alternatives. When you put your card and put there are several options like cash withdrawal, balance statement, online transaction, etc., etc. All these are the alternative courses. So depending on the trigger that is pressed on the ATM machine by the user, the alternative course is selected by the ATM machine, and eventually when all the transactions are done, the use case scenario is successfully completed. What will be the post conditions? Post conditions require that after the user's input, it gives out the amount, gives back to the card, gives back the balance, the receipt. What the machine needs to like rearrange the number of notes that is available, rearrange the balance that machine has, because when the next customer comes, before giving out the money, the machine needs to rectify whether the machine has the needed amount that is requested by the user. So machine needs to rearrange the different trays, rearrange the receipt machine so that the next receipt can be printed. So these are the post conditions when the user successfully complete the use case scenario. So these are the post condition. Exceptions will be like, okay, whenever a user puts the pin code and suddenly the lights goes off, the card is blocked on the machine. So this is, we can call it the exception. Or some error occurred and the machine is blocked. Or when you remember that some time ago in Karachi there was a bank when user tried to put his card and wanted to have a 500 rupees cash withdrawal from the machine, but the machine in response to that gave the 1000 rupees note. So there was some sort of bug or some sort of error that generated that exception for the wrong behavior of the system. So this is the exception that is occurred when something goes wrong. Hopefully कि ये जो ATM machine का जो scenario है, it clearly made you understand how the use case scenario can be designed, what are the different elements of that. Then we have a summary of inputs, we have a different source, we have different outputs, कहाँ से जो है वो information will come out, output, what kind of output that use case scenario will provide, and then destination, wherever the this information can be sent out. So this image actually gives you a glimpse of the simple use case scenario. So let me now discuss some theory regarding the different elements of the use case. So preconditions. It is common practice to create smaller, more focused use cases, breaking the whole process down into parts. It is common practice to create smaller, more focused use cases, breaking the whole process down into parts. It doesn't relate to the preconditions, but the general point that it is better के जो बड़े use case scenarios हैं, we must decompose them into the smaller use case scenarios to make them more understandable. It is important to define clearly what needs to be accomplished before each use case begins. जैसे कि मैंने कहा कि there are some post conditions for the use cases. Suppose maybe the one use case in the end of the one use case there is a beginning of another use case, and what are the post conditions for the one use case will be the preconditions for the beginning of the new use case. So the second point elaborates that it is important to define clearly what needs to be accomplished before each use case begins. The preconditions define the state the system must be in before the use case commences. Like when we start a different game on our cell phones or on our laptops, when we double click on the game, there is the initialization that is start.